Hello there! Welcome to the Raiding Guide, a resource for learning how to get past the first couple of difficulty modes, so LFR and Flex if this is Mists of Pandaria, or LFR and Normal if this is Warlords of Draenor, and into progression raiding. My name is Tuskeh, and in this video we're going to discuss applying for a raiding guild. In the last raiding guide we discussed basic raid leading and the various traits you'll need to call upon if you want to get into the role. Important knowledge for any raider, I feel, which you can find by clicking the annotation on screen now. It'll open in a new tab, so don't worry about it cancelling out this video. Now, I mentioned circumstances perhaps warranting you leading a raid team. But what if your guild doesn't want to raid for one reason or another? What if it's too small, too young, or too inexperienced? You'll have to find another guild, one that does raid, and one that raids as you'd like to. This can be very, very difficult, and going from one environment to another is tricky to do perfectly. So before you do anything, make sure you're 100% certain that the guild you're in won't kick it for you. Jumping ship on a team that isn't doing well isn't going to make things easier for them. But I have jumped a guild before when I could tell that things just weren't going to get better. Use your head and think it through, and never just leave a guild before you find another. Never. Alright, so let's start by discussing how to actually find raiding guilds. There are many different ways of doing this. You could check your server forums, you could check other server forums, you could post an advertisement for yourself on the forums, but one of the best ways to find a raiding guild, I feel, is to actually befriend someone from the guild. How, you ask? Simple. Find raiders in pugs. Flex pickup groups are a great place to make battle tag friends, and you'd be surprised at who runs those with either alts or mains to help their guildmates. Make as many battle tag friends as you can, and then if you find yourself looking for a guild, start talking to people. If you remember someone who performed very well, then look them up on the Armory. Find their guild, then search for it on Google. If that doesn't work, then just talk to them directly. Say, hey, I've been thinking about finding a raiding guild, and I remember you kicking a lot of ass in the Flex run we did, but I can't seem to find your website. Perhaps they don't have one, in which case, ask them to point you towards an officer so you can ask questions about the guild. First of all, you're going to have to just sort of hope that the guild is recruiting. There's very little you can do if they're not, but make sure you offer yourself as a replacement raider if they ever need you. Eventually, they might very well. And at this point in the expansion, being able to replace the people that take breaks before Warlords is very important, because it will demonstrate your dedication. An ahead of the curve Garrosh kill is a great thing to have on your account when looking for guilds, so try to get it done while Mists of Pandaria is still kicking. So what kind of questions should you actually ask an officer? Well, when you're applying for any guild, one of the most important things to figure out is their atmosphere. If you can't be comfortable in a guild or a raid atmosphere, things are probably just not going to work. It's a clash of personalities, and if they don't mesh, they don't mesh. There's nothing you can do about that. But when it comes to actually asking questions about a raiding guild, I'd suggest the following. How long has the team been raiding? At what times does the team raid? What will be expected of me as a raider? Does the team use Vent, Mumble, or some other voice communication software? Does the team have any plans for the future? These are just a few to get started, and if you have any suggestions for others, make sure you throw them in the comments below to help. Remember, don't ask about loot. You're not raiding to get loot, and if you are, then you're going about this all wrong. You use the loot to complete raiding and get bosses down, not just to have it. It's pointless to raid for loot because you likely won't get a full set, and you'll only piss other people off trying to get one. Raid for the challenge because it's so much more enjoyable. The most important thing when potentially joining a new guild and a new raid team is that you can get along with them. See if you can join them on their voice chat software once or twice just to hang out with them and get used to what they're like. See if you can maybe sneak into a flex run with them and make yourself available as an emergency backup raider should things go wrong with another player. Prepare yourself to be called upon. You'll have to judge if you fit in with the team. Use common sense and remember that personalities and teamwork are much more important than individual skill. So, this first method covers unconventional and more informal applications where everything is done through talking to others. This is my preferred way of doing things, and I have found that the best raiding guilds I've joined so far have been through just chatting with people. I can't tell you how to give a first good impression, so just be yourself and be friendly. But maybe you're not applying for a guild like this. Maybe the guild has a website and you have to go through an application process. Fair enough. When it comes to this way of doing things, you're hedging all of your bets on a single application form, so you need to do it right. First though, make sure that you know what you're getting into. Read about the guild as much as you can, get as much information as you can from it, and try to chat with some members or officers of the guild before writing your application so that you can figure out what the atmosphere is like. Don't just start applying because you saw something cool on the front page of a site, or because a guild is doing well in terms of progression. It's essentially advertising, so don't get pulled in without figuring everything out first. When it comes to application forms, first of all, do not rush it. Make sure you check everything you write, spell check it, and double check to see how you're going to seem to the people reading your application. Chances are this will be the first time they see what you're like, so you need to make a good first impression. Answer every question in as much detail as you can, but don't go overboard and write walls of text. Be clear and effective with how you write answers, and most importantly, do not lie. If you don't have much experience, then just tell the guild. Don't hide it, just say I have X amount of experience, or I haven't raided yet, and then follow that up by discussing how you're combating your lack of experience. Say, I haven't raided yet, but I've been watching and reading guides repeatedly and I know every mechanic. Because as I said in the first raiding guide, you'll need to know every mechanic. Show that you're dedicated to getting better. If you have any raiding experience, make sure you mention it, because it will help. Remember that guilds are looking for people with potential. If any guild expects someone in full raid gear to just appear to join their guild, then really they're being a little bit overly optimistic, and not very realistic. Chances are they'll be looking for someone who's in bad to okay gear, anywhere between Siege of Orgrimmar LFR and Siege of Orgrimmar Flex gear, with a lot of potential, so that they can coat them in strong gear and then integrate them into a team that can progress. Additionally, remember to show dedication to your character. Make sure you're gemmed and enchanted to the fullest extent before applying to a raiding guild, and that you're progressing as much as you can with your legendary questline. The cloak is so important for normal mode raiding, so get it as quickly as you can and let the guild know where you are in terms of acquiring the cloak. If you're wondering about how to gem and enchant your character, there's a link below to Icy Veins, which is a great site for figuring out what to do in terms of gems and enchants. You can also use Mr. Robot for this, both are linked in the description. Remember that you're demonstrating your personality as well as your dedication and skill to a guild when you apply, so make sure you act like yourself and enjoy the process. Be a little bit silly if the guild seems like it would enjoy it, and never act like anyone other than yourself, because you'll just make yourself miserable otherwise. This is a game, remember, and you're trying to enjoy it by giving yourself a challenge alongside others that you can enjoy that challenge with. When you've applied, make sure you keep a firm eye on any responses you get. If someone asks you a question, answer it as quickly as you can. Don't leave anyone waiting for a response from you. The quicker you can get information to the guild, the faster a decision can be made. If you're accepted, great. Go ahead and join the guild and see how things go. You'll likely be put on a trial period. Remember that during this time, the guild is proving itself to you just as much as you are proving yourself to the guild. If at any point during the trial process you feel like things aren't going to work out, let people know why and consider leaving. It's much easier to leave a guild that you don't like the atmosphere of when you're a trialist than at any other point afterwards. If you're not accepted, then it sucks, but try and get information as to why. If it's your gear, then perhaps you were setting your sights a little bit too high, and you may need experience in less progressed guilds first. If this isn't the case, then maybe they're just arses, and be glad you weren't in the guild. If they don't like your personality, then chances are that things wouldn't have worked out even if they would have accepted you. It sucks being rejected by a raiding guild, I know, but just forget about it and move on. Don't let it destroy your passion for raiding, because being passionate about raiding is important if you want to succeed. Overall, applying for a new guild can be very difficult, and even more so when you're applying for a new raiding guild. Try to figure out whether or not the guild you're already in can do it, and if they can't, then cut your losses and move on. But, and this is important, remember that the biggest and most important part of World of Warcraft is the people that play it. Making friends will help you a hell of a lot more than defeating an end boss. If you're lucky and put a lot of effort into finding the right guild, then you might just be able to do both. But don't abandon friends for raiding. Really, it's not worth it. You can make great friends through this game. I'd know. I married someone I met in WoW. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you have any thoughts, make sure to leave a comment below and like or dislike the video. I'm always after feedback, so let me know what you think. You can contact me using the links in the description, or just leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe to catch my videos as soon as they come out. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck with your endeavours in the world of Warcraft.